Episode 2. Stevens Point's main event. Welcome back. You want to talk about Raw
Yes, we'll talk about Raw.
and how horrible it was?
It was the worst Raw I've seen in at least 10 years. I didn't smile once. I didn't mark out once. It was horrible. The Sami Zayn segment was one of the worst segments I've ever seen on Raw since Raw started in '94.
Ish. No, 4. Told you last week I didn't like Sami Zayn. And last night
It was horrible.
he really put an exclamation point on that when I say Sami Zayn sucks. Sami sucks. Exclamation. I don't like all this silly comedy stuff.
No.
We don't need it.
Yeah.
We don't need it. I don't like Sami Zayn to begin with. To me, he doesn't have the look. Didn't he wear a mask in Ring of Honor with El Generico?
Yeah.
Put the mask back on. Put on 50 pounds. Hit the gym. You know, this isn't Saturday Night Live.
Yeah.
We don't need to giggle and laugh, especially when it's forced. You know, and at the expense of Bobby Lashley's character. Bobby Lashley does not need that.
No.
He's a powerhouse. Granted, he's not the best wrestler. He's got the look, and
he can talk.
he can talk. You know, we didn't mark out last night, but there was and that segment really was bad. But I did giggle a little bit when Lashley came out and said, "Oh, wow, thanks. You know, this is awesome. Thanks, Tammy. You're the best." You know,
Yeah.
that to me that was funny. Because I know you have to deep inside. Just if that's happening to you and your character, you just came back to the WWE, and that's what they're doing for you. That's what the writers are coming up with.
Well, that was my first thought, was who was writing this? Whoever was writing that skit should have been fired.
Is Vince Russo back?
I have no idea. Vince wouldn't have even done that.
Russo has done some stupid stuff.
Russo came up with that DX making fun of the nation.
That was good.
That was hilarious.
That was good. But that's when you had your top faces doing it.
Yeah.
Not a mid-card,
Exactly.
175-pound Sami Zayn.
Yeah.
I can't stand Sami Zayn. It was horrible. The three sisters, they couldn't take the move from Lashley.
No.
They made Lashley look clumsy.
Yeah.
Lashley's not the greatest, but that really made him look bad. I didn't like it at all. If I was Sammy this morning waking up, I'd be super pissed. But what?
Exactly. It was horrible. I can't say it enough how bad it was.
It's like only John Cena and Hulk Hogan has ever had 100% of creative control on their characters. Why can't wrestlers have more control of what goes on?
I agree. Brock's got a lot of it too.
Well, Brock too. Yeah, Brock. Can I just come in, stand there once a month,
Exactly.
and get paid?
Yeah.
But for him, it works because he's not good on the mic. Just let him destroy people. Yeah. I don't like being forced to laugh, and then it comes off at the expense of a good wrestler, someone that should be pushed hard. He should be main eventing. He should be chasing the title. So,
One segment last night that kind of rubbed me the wrong way is last night Finn Balor and Strowman were in the back,
yeah.
and they made a match with them two, and Strowman grabbed the apple and crushed it right in front of Steph and Balor, and Balor looked all
Overacted.
yeah. He shouldn't be scared of somebody crushing an apple.
You know, yeah. It's an apple, dude.
Exactly.
Calm down.
Come on.
If it's a coconut,
Exactly.
then maybe. Yeah.
That's another guy I like. I've always liked this Finn Balor. I know he's a lot on the small side,
He
But
should be on 205. I don't like him.
no, you don't like him.
I don't like him. I liked him as a demon.
I
You know,
They should-
just I don't know why they don't do that more.
exactly. Well, WrestleMania, that was the perfect time to
Yep.
have him as the demon. I don't know why they didn't have him come out as a demon. Made no sense.
Yeah. Or at least keep him with Gallows and Anderson,
Exactly.
like a little side project of Bullet Club.
Yeah.
Balor Club, 3 heels, put them together, and Balor's, to me alone, I don't think he's that great. He's not heavyweight material. For him to win the first Universal Championship, I thought was silly. I didn't like that. But then who else was in there? Was that Owens or Rollins?
Rollins.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. This week's Raw was just bad. How much more time do we want to talk about it?
I say very little.
Alexa Bliss, she did a
There's
little.
speaking of that, Ember Moon is going to be a future world champion. That finishing move she does, I
That's
love
the
it.
only thing I like. Like I said, ooh, like cringed a little bit when I
love
saw that.
finishing move.
It almost looks like she botched it, but that's the way it's supposed to go.
Exactly.
If you screw that up, you're done.
Yeah.
You're gonna hurt somebody. So it's cool. I like her finisher. I don't like her look. Her hair's kind of cool, I guess. I don't know. I don't like her. I don't like the name either. Ember Moon. Some of these names, it's just almost
Yeah,
like
I hear
they pick. It's like they're playing apples to apples. You know, you pick a card here and pick a card here and put them
Yeah.
together, and it's like silly. Ember Moon, another sad face. I'm putting sad faces because I feel bad for Lashley. Ember Moon, I'm just sad because I don't like her. Alexa Bliss's promo in the back was weird.
Oh, she
Talk
talked
about
about the
the-
Romans.
One thing, okay, let's go. Let's talk about the Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins. It turned into a tag team match. Why did they just make it a tag team match?
I was thinking the same thing.
I don't like that when it comes out 1-on-1 and then there's interference and then other people come in and join in. I don't like it.
And it's so predictable.
Yeah. I read something. On Twitter. It was Bubba Ray Dudley. He said something about they just planted a couple seeds in that match. So I watched it, and I'm thinking this with Rollins and Reigns together. I'm thinking Ambrose is going to come back and Money in the Bank to help those two, or at least help Reigns, like Rollins came out to help Reigns. Reigns is going to turn on Ambrose, and then he's turned heel. For some reason, people like Ambrose. I don't like him. I call him Captain Comb-Over.
I've heard you talk about it.
He's so goofy. He should be like selling cars or furniture or something. He's just like what was his name? John Morrow in the Indies. John Morrow. Something like that.
Yeah.
He was crazy in the Indies. It's just not working here. I don't like him. He was okay in the Shield when they first began because he wore a vest and everything that made him look bigger. But he's not a big dude. 6 foot, 6'2", $190.
You think he's only $190?
He's not 200 pounds. Maybe 200. He's just, to me, I don't know.
Well, if you think about it, I know this is going way back, but if you think about it, like everybody loved Roddy Piper, and Roddy Piper wasn't ever a bodybuilder.
No.
He was probably maybe in his prime, maybe 220, 230.
Yeah.
So you don't have to be, jacked up.
No. This is professional wrestling, though, so if you're going to be able to, sell that you can lift another 200-pound person,
I hear ya.
You should at least be 200 pounds.
But there's been numerous times where people that are big can't wrestle in the leg.
No.
I mean, First person that comes to my mind is Lex Luger
He wasn't too bad.
or Sid Vicious.
He wasn't too bad either. I liked them both.
Did you?
I think that's because they were 6'4", 6. What? Vicious, what? 6'8".
I'll actually take that. Luger, I could take more than Vicious. Vicious was so sloppy. He hurt so many people over the years.
Remember that match where he broke his leg? You ever see that?
Oh my God.
I get sick watching that.
If any of you haven't seen that, go watch it.
Yeah.
It's a WCW.
Was it Vicious versus Steiner?
Yeah.
Scott Steiner
And
jumped
whoever
off.
is booking the match had Sid Vicious jump off the top rope, which he's never done in his life.
Yeah, I've
as
never
soon
seen
as-
him come off the top
And
rope.
as soon as he landed, his leg was an L. I'm not a doctor, but your leg's not supposed to be shaped like an L.
that was bad. That was
I
horrible.
was watching it at the bar, and all of us at the bar were like, "Whoa!"
I would throw up if I saw it live because I watched it on YouTube knowing what happens.
And I'm gonna swear on here, but dumbass Scott Steiner, his opponent, his leg is completely sideways, and he's still going along with the match, stomping him. If I would have been vicious, I would have get your steroid ass out of here.
Kill it.
Yes.
All right, we're sidetracking.
Yep.
All right, Raw. I think we're done with Raw.
We're done with
was
Raw.
Horrible. They've got to do better. It's like every week it gets worse, and really frustrating.
That's
'cause
why we should be the writers.
at least giving them. You know what I always thought of. You've got your writers and your bookers, and you've got Vince and Triple H who are running the show. They should hire wrestling fans, 10 wrestling fans, as a focus group.
I would love that.
Sit in a room and say, all right, this is what we're thinking about doing. What would you think of that? Thumbs down, thumbs up, get a fan's perspective on storylines and characters or matchups
Yeah.
before you just puke them up on a piece of paper and then put it on TV. It's almost like some of these guys don't own TVs and watch their product.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, write it on paper, it's going to be awesome, but you don't watch the product after. It's horrible, horrible, horrible. We've been watching this 30 plus years. This has to be some of the worst wrestling in 30
Yeah.
years.
Like I said, I would always stay up for the main event of Raw all the time.
Yeah.
And last night I went to bed before it was like the last half hour I went to bed because
I'll record it.
it doesn't impress me anymore. It's just like we said last week. It's a habit.
Yeah. I've got a button on my DVR that skips 5 minutes. I watch 3 hours in about 30 minutes. And sometimes I'll backtrack to see, okay, what was that? Usually it's garbage, just get my hopes up. All right, we're done with Raw. Bad. All right, another thing. My son's 18th birthday, Braden, turns 18 today.
Happy birthday,
Happy birthday, Brady. He was a big wrestling fan. Growing up with me, you almost have to. I've got video footage of him dressed as Batman, jumping off a dresser in our basement onto mattresses.
Well, that's cool.
He was dressed up as Batman, sitting up there doing this. He's like
Cool.
4 or 5 years old and jumping onto a stuffed Spider-Man doll we had. So happy birthday, Brady! Love you. We wanted to do this last week. This is something we always seem to talk about. Our earliest wrestling memories. I think we should get this early. If we're going to do a couple more episodes, might as well just get this out of the way.
Exactly.
I've told you the very first time I saw wrestlers on TV, it was Brutus Beefcake and Greg Valentine as a dream team. I think my dad was flipping through channels and it stopped on that. I think he said something that was stupid or fake, but I saw these big dudes and, just screaming and yelling. I don't know if it was me and Gene, but there was somebody, and that was my very first wrestling moment. Then after that, yep, and then just trying to look for it like on Saturdays. But some of the early shows I did see was AWA, Midnight Rockers, Diamond. What's a Diamond?
DDP?
Nope,
Oh, Paul Diamond?
nope. The tag team. Wasn't it Diamond? What was the tag team in AWA?
Oh, I forget.
Bad Company.
Bad Company.
Yes, Bad
Paul
Company.
Diamond and Pat Tanaka.
Thank you, thank you. I'm gonna write that down. Bad Company. Oh, I fell in love with the Midnight Rockers and the Midnight Express. I didn't care for Greg Gunn, you know.
Greg Gagne was horrible.
He was horrible, and I was discovering, you know, that this is something I want to watch every week. This was entertaining to me. It was on at night. Mom would go to bed. I'd turn on I think it was Channel 9 at 10:30 or something on a Saturday. But yeah, Kurt Hennig, Scott Hall, AWA was my earliest memories. And then I finally got into WrestleManias. WrestleManias 3 was, I think, my first one.
The first one?
Yeah.
Well, my first memory, we didn't have cable when we were kids. We didn't get cable till like 87, 88.
Yeah.
And we had like the local channels, 7, 9, 12, 13, and then we had like a couple Green Bay channels, like 26 and 32. And I think on the 32 channel was World Class Championship Wrestling.
Lucky.
And that's how I got started. Kerry Von Erich, the One Man Gang, Iceman King Parsons, and I started watching it. It was always 10 o'clock in the morning was roller derby. I don't know if you remember roller derby. And then 11 o'clock to noon was World Class Championship Wrestling. And I started watching it, and I'm like, first match I ever saw was David Von Erich versus Jimmy Garvin.
Really?
And I remember watching it, I'm like, this is pretty cool.
Pretty cool.
I like this.
How old were you?
I was 6,
Wow.
and that was 1984. And then David Von Erich died, and they did a David Von Erich like memorial tournament like at Texas Stadium, and they made a big deal of it because Fritz Von Erich came back out of retirement.
You wrestled in it?
Yeah, it was Fritz, Kevin Von Erich, and Mike Von Erich against the Freebirds, and that was like the main event of Texas Stadium.
Really?
And that's the first real big event I ever watched.
I don't remember that at all. Von Erich's won, right?
Oh yeah, Von Erich's always won.
I was a big fan of Kerry. He had the look. Texas Tornado. It was okay, but Kerry Von Erich in his early days, amazing.
That was the one. Everybody talks about AWA or NWA, but if Fritz would have gone global, the boys wanted to go global,
Oh, they did?
and Fritz wanted to stay in Texas.
Keep your tip.
If they would have gone global, they would have, because Vince wasn't even going global at the time.
Oh, before
It was like early '80s. It was like, so Vince, that was before WrestleMania when they wanted to go global. And I think they might have.
You think if Von Erichs would have jumped the gun before McMahon's?
They might have.
Wow.
You never know.
Yeah.
And then from that point on, I discovered at an early age that WWF Superstars was on at 11 o'clock in the morning.
Mm.
So when I was always flipping back and forth from World Class to the WWF shows. And that's pretty much how I got started.
Wow. I remember when I finally got into WWF, not having cable, and having Saturday Night's Main Event on NBC. If I could have $1 for every time I swore at the antenna that I had to fight, or the TV, or the VCR banging on something
Oh, yeah.
trying to get a signal, trying to watch through like fuzz.
And the first WrestleMania I've seen, and I've told you this story. One of my good friends one of my good friends when I was growing up, Ryan,
Yeah.
he was my across the street neighbor, and his dad had one of those big white satellite
The
dishes,
big NASA ones, yeah.
and he got WrestleMania 1. And I watched it, which I loved World Class, but they didn't have the production that WWF had at the time. And I watched it, and as soon I was like, it was halfway through, and I said, I was hooked. It was like a drug. I was hooked.
Yeah.
I was getting magazines. I was getting.
Yeah. You know, I think actually my first WrestleMania was 4.
Oh, that was the tournament, wasn't it?
That was a tournament,
Okay.
and before I had a favorite face, I had a favorite heel. DiBiase pissed me off. He was like, he's one of my favorite heels of all time.
He was the best.
And was he ever face?
No.
Never. How many other wrestlers can you think of that that never switched roles?
The only other one I can think of is Ricky Steamboat.
He's always face, yeah. Steamboat. So DiBiase was always the super heel. And did they ever wrestle?
I don't think they did. 'Cause I think Steamboat was out of the Dunk Company by 4.
Yeah, I know. Shortly after 3, he left.
Yeah.
Which is dumb because him and Savage at 3
Yeah.
was like probably the best
Yeah.
top 3 matches ever. That when I saw
Oh.
it's just beautiful to watch. It's just like symphony, just you know.
It was
Your
either
favorites.
if it was either the NWA or WWF, and I kind of geared towards WWF. I still like I'm more geared towards NWA. I still like the WWF. It was just more my kind of wrestling. Like there was a guy when you said your favorite wrestler was a heel,
Mhm.
DiBiase.
Yeah.
My favorite wrestler in World Class, so it was my first favorite wrestler, was a guy by the name of Terry Gordy.
Was it?
He was in a Freebirds.
Yeah,
He was the
Freebirds,
big
yeah.
guy in the Freebirds.
Yep.
I loved his style. I thought he was an awesome wrestler. He didn't say anything. He just
Yeah, didn't talk.
beat up everybody.
Yeah. Yep. Terry Gordy. He was a big dude. Freebirds. Michael Hayes. Who was the other way?
Buddy Roberts.
Buddy Roberts. Thank you. Where am I writing? Firebirds. Freebirds.
Yeah, Freebirds were the first people that came out to music.
Yeah. What is that? Atlanta, USA or something?
Yeah, Bad Street.
Bad Street, yeah. Bad Street. Is that even before Hogan came out to like
I think
Eye
it
of
was.
the Tiger?
I think it was.
It'll be something to look
Because
into.
Freebirds was like 83, and Hogan didn't really start getting big until
End of 3 or 4.
yeah.
Hmm.
But I watched the AWA. I used to love the AWA.
All in StarCast. We gotta get there.
Yes.
Because what's the big news or rumor?
It wasn't a rumor.
It's confirmed?
I was reading online at a very reputable source. It said that Mr. CM Punk was backstage at the press conference for All In.
That's amazing to me. You know,
And if he wanted to get back into wrestling, that would be the perfect opportunity. I don't think he's ever going to go back to the WWF because that's not his style.
And there's some lawsuit with merchandise or something, right? Is that what it is?
It's a lawsuit for defamation because he went on his buddy's podcast, Cole Cabana's podcast, pretty much threw the trainers under the bus in WWF. So they sued him for defamation.
Okay. It's not defamation if it's honest.
Exactly.
You know, if the writers and trainers in WWE are
I agree.
just trying to hurt Punk's image, hurt his character, but he does have a fight in UFC coming up one of these weekends. And I don't know what type of contract he has after that. So maybe by the end of August, he'll be able to do something for StarCast or even All In.
Yeah.
You know, maybe I wouldn't think a run in it All In,
No, I think.
but maybe
like
he
that.
just comes to the ring and says, "Hey, remember me?"
Yeah.
You know, sits down in the middle of the ring and talks for 10 minutes. That's when we mark out, right?
Well, that's what I mark out like 8-year-olds.
Yeah. Huge Punk fan because he's honest. He's genuine.
Exactly.
And he's talented in the ring, on the mic, and you know the UFC
He
stuff.
speaks to wrestling fans like you and me.
Yeah.
He doesn't speak for the little kids and the women that like WWF.
Yeah. So we got to try to make it to All In. Well, Starcast at least. All In tickets are
All-
going
yeah, all-
$500 a piece right now.
All In, we're probably not going to make it, but Starcast, I'd love to go to that.
Yeah. That's a 4-day thing. That would just be perfect just to hang out down there and wander around, get lost, and meet, you know, shake hands with a couple, you know, of the old guys. So what else? We got SmackDown going to Fox soon. Or that's next year, isn't it?
That's next year, 2019.
Okay. It's only $1 billion contract. And it's going to
I'm kind of
Fridays.
surprised. Is it really?
Yeah, it's going to Fridays.
And I didn't hear that one.
Yeah.
Kind of surprised that USA didn't just kick off Raw too. SmackDown and Raw are pretty much the same thing. You know what I'm saying?
I think it might be ratings.
That could be.
We don't watch SmackDown.
Very rarely.
Very rare. If I'm home alone and there's nothing else on, I'll watch a little bit just to pop in and see what's going on. But otherwise, it's not. I don't even think I record it and go through it. I love AJ Styles. But
I love AJ Styles. I've always been a big fan of Daniel Bryan, even though he's not.
I can't love them all. I can't love them all.
Yeah, but other than those two, I've never been. I can't really.
I like Charlotte,
Their women's division. I love.
Becky Lynch.
Yeah.
Yeah, the women's division. You know, just I don't know. I don't know why it's going to Fox. I don't know why it's going to Friday.
Why would they put it on Friday? They tried to do it on Friday years ago and it didn't work.
Yeah, maybe if it's on, kids can stay up later and watch it. Or
I
something.
love wrestling. I've been watching it for 30 years, but on Friday nights.
I'm going to get a fish fry.
Well, exactly. Nobody's going to stay if you're not working the weekend. Nobody's going to watch TV. Yeah, I mean,
Unless you have the guys that
have it in the middle of the week
do
where
nothing else.
you know,
But
have it like on a Thursday. You could see because most people still work on Friday. It doesn't make any sense to have it on a Friday.
yeah, I know we don't watch it, but you mentioned that Daniel Bryan's wrestling Jeff Hardy.
And that could be a good match, actually.
That's going to be a really good match. I might actually record and watch that because both of them can go.
Exactly.
Both of them. Actually, I don't know how Jeff Hardy still has a job. He's always, you know,
He's always
a couple
drunk or
months
high.
on, yeah, a couple months back, and he's getting arrested for drinking and driving. And I don't get it. Anyway, but Money in the Bank must be that next week, that weekend, huh?
I think it's sometime in June. I think it's in the middle of June. I think maybe it's
Is there no May pay-per-view?
June 17th? I don't think there's any pay-per-view.
What?
And that's another thing.
Aren't they adding an hour to pay-per-views?
It's going to be pay-per-views now are going to be 4 hours long.
That's stupid. Half of it is commercials.
That's ridiculous.
Half of it's commercials promoting WWE Network shows.
Exactly. WrestleMania, I was so unbelievably bored.
What is it, like 34 hours for WrestleMania, right?
It felt like it.
You had to pack a lunch.
Yeah. It started at 4, the
Yeah.
pre-show.
Pre-show. Then there's a pre and
And I'm
pre-show.
not kidding you. It didn't get done till after 11 o'clock.
Central Time.
Central Time, exactly. It's like, I love wrestling, but don't they realize people have jobs that they have to go to in the morning?
Or yard work.
Exactly.
Or family. You know? Even if you bought a ticket to go to WrestleMania, you want to sit there for 6 hours plus another
That's
hour in
ridiculous.
line waiting. God, it's quality, not quantity. Give us two good, solid hours.
Wrestling, like Raw should be 2 hours. Raw should,
We don't need 3 hours of Raw.
no.
We're probably gonna say that every week. Every time we bring up Raw and we're doing episodes, this is episode 2. We might be on episode 202 complaining about, oh, Raw is 4 hours now. It sucks. Please don't go to 4 hours. Bring it down to 2.
Yeah.
I've got nothing else. Raw was horrible.
Raw was, I can't put into words how bad Raw was.
Yeah. Let's see, we hit all our bullet points this week, Mike. We got them all. We got our early memories.
Early memories.
You got anything else? I'm excited for Punk. I've got a couple months to get ready for that.
I'm excited. I'm excited for that whole All In pay-per-view. I think.
Whoa! That's one thing. There's no production. I was reading a tweet from Cody Rhodes that this isn't even televised or anything yet. It's pretty much a glorified house show.
See,
There's no production yet. I'm like, I commented on something on Twitter saying this
If I
has to
was
be
one
at
of
least
those-
live on YouTube.
if I was one of the streaming companies like Roku, I have a Roku. I have a couple different Rokus. If I was a Roku, like bigwig, I would put it on our channel on my Roku.
Roku or Amazon.
Or Amazon.
Or get some dudes from YouTube there with cameras.
Exactly.
I don't know how this is such a huge moneymaker. I've never seen the wrestling, like the indie scene, this excited for something.
You
And
know what
it's
I
not
would
even-
do?
It's not even going to be on TV.
What I would do, and they would never do this, but what I would do is the Money in a Bank pay-per-view is in Chicago. I would have a couple people get front row seats, and just on the hard side of the camera, and just have All In merchandise. They can't kick them out
No.
because they paid for their ticket.
Yeah, you can't make them change shirts. They take away signs. You can't
Yeah.
take away a guy's shirt.
Exactly.
So, hey, do you want to be our first special guest on that show?
Yeah.
No?
I'm tired.
All right. Well, we're recording here at LeGrand Studios in the, what should we call him? Grandmaster LeGrand?
Grandmaster LeGrand.
No, that doesn't sound LeGrand Master.
LeGrand Master.
LeGrand.
Trying to get our first special guest, but
The professor.
the Professor.
The Professor.
Oh, that'd be a cool
I like
wrestling
that
name,
one.
like
The Professor.
Professor.
Like Dean Douglas.
Dean Douglas. That was a horrible gimmick.
Okay, we're getting off track
The
again.
professor's
Yeah.
tired.
So, all right. Thanks everybody for
Thank
watching.
you, everybody.
And we'll probably be back next week.
Absolutely. Well, we
Yeah,
will be.
thanks
There's
for
no probably
watching.
about it. Well, we will be
Might
back.
call him back there.
Whoops.
Yeah, that week we had a goodbye.
Thanks for watching them.